Well, hello there everyone, it's Diggs again. I've been playing my warrior a little bit over the last couple of days and finding out different builds, looking at different things, different ways and how I can use the warrior. I'm not really much of a warrior player, just simply because I just don't like the style the warrior has come to. My warrior was my main in Guild Wars 1. I play a champion in Lord of the Rings Online, play the warrior in World of Warcraft. I am a warrior player. However, the Guardian in Guild Wars 2 is my main, mostly because I wanted something a little bit different to play, but also because I did try out both the same. I had a Guardian and a Warrior on the roll, leveling up at the same time, but I just like the Guardian better. I don't know, I think I just fancy something a little bit different than the Warrior, but I just didn't like the style of the Warrior. However, the Warrior for me in this build is back. You're tough, you're strong, you're on the front line, and you're doing lots of damage. So I'm going to go through the basics of the build. And hopefully I'll release a video a little bit later of me using it. It's very difficult at the moment to try and get some solos at the moment, just because of the server that I'm on. Basically, I'm part of a guild called Lion, and we were on Far Shiver Peaks, but we moved to the Sea of Sorrows server, North American server. They needed some night crews and things like that, and we thought it would be a different experience for us to play that, and it has been really, really good. We're getting a lot of guild fights, guild v guild, small group fights. That's what we really want. In Europe, it's a lot more blobby, a lot more zergy. But here it's a lot more tactical. People actually refresh Siege, which is very, very nice. They actually upgrade towers, which is great as well. So there's a lot more tactical play in the North American servers rather than Europe, which is just a massive Zerg against Zerg, massive karma trains. But anyway, I'm going to move on from the comparison of WvWvW tactics and get on to the actual build. So I've decided to play the warrior only because we have a front line. I'm usually in the front line unless I'm playing my necro or anything else with my guardian. Obviously, guardian's in the front line. But I decided to, why don't I try the warrior? I have a level 80 warrior. Let's use him. So yes, this is my beast of a warrior, and essentially, this is the build. I'm going to go through it. I haven't got all the runes yet. I'm missing one rune on my helmet, but that's because I'm going to change the runes. The runes I used to have on my warrior, I used to play a banner warrior before the patch. It used to be a healer warrior, kind of used to do shouts, and you used to do the banner healing as well. So that's what I used to play. Hence of all the sapphire healing power jewelry. But instead, I've gone for a berserker jewelry because that's what this build is all about. So I have my dark helm, which doesn't have the rune in it. However, I've gone power, toughness, vitality all throughout. I have gone for karma armor just simply because it's just so cheap and because you just stack up karma so much. You should really use it. If you're not using karma armor, use it. Don't like the skin, go to WvWvW, change the skin like I have done with the helm. That's the Invader's helm, by the way. Change the skin, change the skin, change the skin. Just change the skins, it's absolutely fine. The karma armor is just as good as crafted armor, obviously not ascended. So yeah, I've gone PvT over there just because it's fairly bog standard. You do need power, toughness and vitality. The rune, obviously the healing rune, I've gone for Rune of Guardian. I don't really want that though. I'm thinking of moving on to the runes of the soldier, or runes of the Doliac, just to give me a bit of toughness. If there is toughness and power, I will obviously go for that one, but Doliac sounds good to me at the moment. So yes, don't take this for granted. That will also affect some of the stats as well. So please don't do that. Don't take that into consideration. However, I've gone PvT over here. I will most definitely go. It's looking that way to go for runes of the Doliac all the way through. My jewelry is of course berserkers, all of it's berserkers, just simply because I need the extra power for this build. So I've gone for PvT over here, which means I've got a good level of toughness and vitality, and I've gone for berserkers over here, which gives me a good amount of crit damage and also precision for my critical hits, but also lots of power, because you need power in this build, and I'm going to explain why right now. The first weapon we're going to use a Greatsword with the Sigil of Perception, so we can increase our precision every foe that we kill by +10, which gives us an increased greater critical chance hit. This is going to be your main weapon. You're going to use this in the front line. I'm going to show you sort of the rough combo that we're going to use to try and do this. And then we're going to use a rifle as well. Why? Because rifles are cool. Rifles are extremely cool, as you can see by the skin of this. I quite like the skin of this. So I didn't shoot anything. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I love the skill of the rifle. Anyhow, I just like the warrior having a rifle. It's something crazy in there, but nevertheless, it's great. It's a nice little rifle as well. But Yeah, the whole thinking behind this was the Greatsword was to get into your enemy, really get in stuck into the front line, but there is some things where you're going to need to use your rifle in taking down some of the backline guys, any guys running away, and also it's got such a fantastic adrenaline skill as kill shot. It says level 3 damage 2548. That's wrong. I can crit up to maybe 10 to 12k, more or less the end of the 100 blades kind of animation with the big sword swing at the end when it goes over your shoulder. When you hit 12 to 14k over that, that's more or less what your kill shot gives you. So that's why I like the rifle, and it's got a good burst still here called volley, cripple, aim shot, and you got vulnerability brutal shot. Normally what I do is I hit the brutal shot first, and then if I don't have my adrenaline up, or I simply won't be able to get off the kill shot without being interrupted, then I can use my volley, because that really does kind of stack up. It's like 100 blades kind of thing. It's a bit of burst, and the damage goes up and up and up and up and up. So yeah, that's kind of just the explanation of the weapons and why I'm choosing those type of weapons, and of course the rifle butt with number 5 in case you want to back somebody off. Go over the traits just before I go over the general skill combos. We're going to go 20 in arms. We're going to go crack shot because obviously the reduced recharge skills timings, and because the shots pierce as well, which is obviously fantastic. You obviously need a bit of armor piercing just to remove that little bit of extra toughness, because you are going to be in the front line and hitting people. Forceful Greatsword, obviously you want the reduced recharge skill rate, and it gives you a might boost of 23 power and 23 condition every time you critical hit, and obviously with the extra crit chance we should get that might boost quite a lot. You want to go 20 into defense, dog the march. What you want to do is you want to gain regeneration when you're affected by one of the conditions, either immobilized, cripple, or chilled, and the duration of those are also decreased, which helps because you don't want to be crippled, you don't want to be immobilized, and you definitely do not want to be chilled in the front line. So this is a must. Now, Cleansing Eye. Gain adrenaline when hit. Remove a condition for every bar of adrenaline spent. This is exactly it. This is where you want to use your kill shot, you want to use your great sword skill. I forgot it's got things on arc or something like that, isn't it? Arcing slice, there you go. Yeah, I was close. So yeah, I mean, this is great. If you're suffering from conditions, just boom out your arcing slice or your kill shot and you get it. Your arcing slice, you want to use that because your kill shot tends to take quite a lot longer to charge up. And of course you get adrenaline for every hit that you take. And in the front line you'll be taking a lot of hits, so by the time you know it, you'll have that adrenaline skill ready to be used as a condition cleanser for yourself. And obviously these two skills will give you extra 200 precision, extra condition damage, so for example your cripple and things like that obviously doesn't damage the opponent. You get increased toughness and increased healing as well, so this little mighty skill over here, Healing Signet, gets a little bit of a boost. Next you want to go into Discipline, which increases your critical damage by 30% and your burst recharge by 30% as well. Of course you want to make sure these burst skills are obviously always going to be recharged very, very quickly, only because you want to make sure, just in case, that you're cleansing conditions very quickly. So this whole build kind of revolves quite nicely together. It's like a circle of life. It's like a circle of a build, if you want to put it that way. Everything kind of molds in together. Anyway, the first skill here is Warrior Sprint. Obviously we don't have the horn. We don't have the use of the horn. We don't have the use of the banners. So you're going to need something to make you faster. The best way to do that is by wielding a weapon and using this trait. But that's why you wield your Greatsword as your primary weapon, so you can gain your movement increase. Now the next one is Destruction of the Empowered. Deal bonus damage per boon on your target. Well, this is something great, really. You don't really want to have a lot of necros in your group for this, but I mean you can change it around. I mean, loads of people like other front lines, for example, like warriors are going to use for great justice. Guardians are going to have lots of boons on them. Engineers, things like that. A lot of the people that potentially could be in the front line, also Ellies as well, if you've got like a tank or heal Ellie that need to be in the front line to heal the front line in their group. They're going to have boons, and if you have boons, you need something to cancel that out. A 3% damage increase isn't that great, but you may feel it if you're critting well. You can change this. You have Vengeance as an increased chance to res an ally, but you don't really want that. You've got Axes, you've got to gain extra adrenaline on the kill. You could use that because that gains you 10 extra adrenaline. You gain Might when you block an attack. We're not going to really be blocking too much with this build. We don't have shield. We're not really using any shouts either, so you're not going to use Inspiring Shouts. Gain Vigor when using a stance. Really, you're only going to use Endure Pain. There's nothing else other than that. And movement skills, Break, Immobilize. I could use that, but don't really have any. I mean, you can use your Whirlwind Attack and things like that, but I think this is really the only thing that we can go for at the moment. The final one, heightened focused. Gain bonus critical hit chance for each stage of adrenaline you have. This is where all the adrenaline stuff just kicks in all the time. When you're getting hit, you get adrenaline. You want to make sure that your critical hit chance is always on the up, and that's only because when you hit that 100 blades, you want to make sure that you're getting near between the 10 and the 12 and the 14k hits. And also with kill shot as well, you want to make sure that those are hitting anywhere between 10 to 14k when you're doing it. Obviously, really, if you're doing your 100 blades and you do get your 14k crit off at the end, your opponent really should be dead. There's no one out there with 30k HP really, and you'd be stupid if you had to, because you'd be losing out on so many other stat bonuses. However, now we're going to go through some of the combos. I'll keep it onto the trait page. Now, some of the combos are fairly basic. You're going to run around, you're going to be in your front line, you see someone you like, or you don't like really, someone in your group targets something, you want to use your number 5, you want to use rush. This is only because some people expect a bull rush for the knockdown, then they expect the Greatsword to suddenly change to a hammer to knock down, then to do 100 blades. Your rush is essentially a fake bull's charge, and that's what we're going to use it as. And now you could do this, obviously if your opponent's expecting a bull charge, you're going to use rush, but obviously you don't know what your opponent's expecting, hence why I normally open up with rush when I'm further away from the opponent, only because the ranger is 1200 and the bull's charge is 900, and a lot of people kind of get confused. They think, well, hang on a minute, no, he's bull charging now, and they go to dodge. Whereas after they've dodged, that's when you hit the bull charge, because you're going to miss them with the rush, no doubt, probably because they're gonna dodge, or experienced players will dodge, others will just stand there. And then you use your bull's charge, knock them down for 2 seconds. In those 2 seconds you're going to whip off this 100 blade skill. 6.5 second cooldown for 100 blades is really nothing, but if you can get 100 blades off while they're knocked down, the players are just going to sit there and they will see damage, and you will see the hits just flying off your screen. It'll go from 3k, 5k, 6k, 10k, 12k, 14k if you're lucky right at the end, and then they'll just die with that. And of course you still got your healing signet that grants regeneration to yourself. Obviously I know it's only 147 heal at the moment, that's because I'm in a pretty shocking area. What level is this area? Oh, I'm just under Lion's Arch, I think that's level 40 to 50 area. Yeah, 45 to 55. So, ignore those heal points. Now next, when the fight's getting a little bit old, you kind of want to use your blade trail if someone's running away. It does cripple, which is great. So if you've got a little thief or an NG running around, or even a really annoying warrior, those CC warriors that run around with the sword and the hammer, and I know the hammer's been nerfed, but still, causing knockdown to some of your casters isn't the way you want to go. So you can use those to cripple, use your whirlwind attack. That is fantastic. You need to make sure you use this skill, not only because it helps you evade certain attacks, but it just gets you around the whole fight so much quicker. And your number 1 skill, my skill when I use this at the moment usually averages at around about 1.5k to 2k. If I crit, it'll go around about 2.1k. So this is the thing that you want to be aiming for, even using the stats that I've got, even using the toughness and the healing. I haven't even got power in there yet, so I haven't even got any ascended weapons. They're not ascended, they're all exotic. So just imagine it. Imagine if I did have ascended, you will be critting even more, and that's just for your normal attacks as well. Now, let's say you're getting a bit bored of using a greatsword. Yes, use the rifle. Die. Look at that, 11.5k damage. I know it's almost mosquito, but there you go. Yeah, this is exactly what you want to use. If people are getting too close, you need to run away. Obviously use your whirlwind attack, use a rush to target different targets, use your bull charge. You've got your Doliac signet here, reduces incoming damage. You can gain stability if you really need to. 8 seconds of it is pretty good if you're in the middle of a fight. You've got endure pain as well. And then of course you've got your Signet of Rage. Now, some people like to use Signet of Rage only because it gains adrenaline faster. Obviously this build is about adrenaline building to get the most crit, to get the most damage. But you can also use it to gain Fury, Might and Swiftness when needed, if you're really struggling for that. Because obviously Fury gains an extra 20% critical chance, which helps. And you'll be gaining adrenaline anyway because you're dealing damage from our previous traits. However, some groups like to have warriors to use the War Banner, or the Battle Standard, is the technical term, only because it can res people up. So obviously if you have a little bit of a wipe, your frontliners a wipe, or some of your backliners a massive wipe, just stomp it down and let them get back up again. And obviously at the same time it does more or less exactly the same, just for much less time. For your Fury, Might and Swiftness, the Might is a little bit longer, Fury and Swiftness obviously drastically shorter, but the res is the main point of the battle standard. Obviously, if you're going solo, use a Signet of Rage. If not, if you're going for a definite group play, get the battle standard, get the war banner. Now, various combos you can use. As I explained before, the number 4 skill must be a first. It pierces, and obviously it pierces because of our traits, but also the vulnerability it gives will increase that damage, and because you should have your critical chance up, as mentioned before, because of the adrenaline, because of the Signet of Rage, because of the traits, you will get that extra damage on your volley. And if you need to cripple, aim shot. After that, kill shot, and hopefully your vulnerability by then may still be up, because you've got 1 second for brutal shot, 2.5 seconds for volley. Hit your kill shot is 1 second 3/4, so let's say 2 seconds. That's from about 5 seconds. Let's just say even 6 seconds. You're well in your vulnerability. It's half of it there, so you can even run around a little bit, roll around on the floor, and then shoot him and kill him. So that's kind of really the gist of the build. I'll hopefully release a video of me using it in WvWvW. I haven't tried it in SPVP yet, but this is mostly for WvWvW. I'll hopefully get some videos for you, just so you can test it out yourself. But I mean, even then, test it out yourself. It's a great mobility build. It's something that has a lot of potential to make sure that you're dealing the most damage and getting the most crits as possible. So by all means, test it out, and I hope you enjoy the video.